Unajua Wakenya tuko rada sana baby. Yeah, as in you get, and this heightened sense of awareness is so amazing to watch. If you're keen, then you'll notice that Kenyans just stand out, not because of something crazy that, you know, they would say, right? Probably because of how they look, or even the accent going on. It's none of those things, man. You know, but for me, I feel like the way we're so alert, you get, it's fascinating. Yeah, it's fascinating. So I remember back in the day, because obviously, like most of us, we have a bunch of friends from other countries. Yeah, lakini my Ghanaian friend, in fact cousin, alikuwa ananiambia, you know, Kev, you guys, man, you Kenyan people, they have this reputation. I don't even know how to put it in words. I'm like, so what do you even mean at your reputation? He's like, guys, you guys are just known for being so aggressive. Yeah, not in a bad way, but like your presence is so crazy. It's almost some of the only people who match our presence. It's the Nigerian folks. Yeah. Oh, you're never gonna miss a Kenyan. And I was like, okay, sawa. You know, so he told me this way back. Until I watched the game between rugby, obviously, Cabras and Stanbic Pirates. So sijai kwa rada hivi when we play other countries, ama when we play Uganda in the Elgon Cup, or even football in Nini. But for some weird reason, I was very invested in the energy and, you know, how we carried ourselves, yeah, during that game. Yeah, so me, I've always been a fan of KCB, but obviously, because Cabras was in the final, I had to support our own. So I didn't even know I was gonna be so keen on our alertness. So the game went on and by the way, pre-match conversation, yeah, kwanza amongst all these rugby analysts and enthusiasts. So obviously most people were expecting Cabras to go and beat Pirates. Pirates on the other hand, they were talking a big game. Their fans were excited, so it was a generally very good game, yeah. However, so I started thinking, why is it that first of all Cabras, yeah? How is it that you guys have just figured out how to carry yourselves as winners? And then it got me thinking about, you know, a text I read way back in the day. When you've listen, you know, some people actually have that winning gene, but forget about that. When you've been successful in a certain endeavor for quite a while, just like in the gym, right? There's this thing called muscle memory. So you tend to execute at those levels if you're getting into something else again. Like, you're so used to winning that you expect to win. Even in terms of your effort, like, you just know your effort is like, wow, it's turned out, yani. You know, you're better than most people around you. Now, back to this whole Cabras thing and how I thought Kenyans are so rada, manze. So, as the game went on, yeah, the way Cabras, first of all, by the way, you know, there's some Ugandan rugby players who are massive. I think it's because of the matoke and whatever, man. Like, those guys are actually very well built. Cabras as well, yeah. But obviously, these are two teams that look alike, East African affair. You know what I mean? Some of those guys even have Luo names. So, Okeldo, they say Okeldo, Okoth, da-da-da. Yeah, so we're very similar. But just the way, you know, those Cabras guys were carrying themselves, the way they were so alert, yeah, the energy was so grounded. And then it got me. I was just like, energy is real. Some people just have this belief, yeah. And I think that's the thing about Kenyans compared to other countries around us, especially not just even around us, in Africa. In fact, globally, man. You know, I think we've been through it enough that we kind of just know how to carry ourselves. We know how to read the room. We know how to read people. We can tell who's fake, who's real in the room. Yeah, we know how to keep it safe. Yeah, we know how to not be extreme. We know how to, of course, not all Kenyans, but majority of Kenyans, especially if you're exposed, you're well-traveled. I mean, you've been in, you know, different circles, and now you've learned a thing or two. Real social dynamics, again. This is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah? But when it comes to our past, unajua saa zingine bana, you guys, mashidas are good for you. Hizo shida zote tumepitia from our ancestors, from Mau era, even before. I think that's why tuko rada sana, manze. political struggle, how we experienced a one-party rule, you know what I mean, disputed elections, and then, of course, major protest movements. Don't even get me started about our engagement with the colonialists. Yeah? Those things, lessons of history. You know, let me tell you, how you carry yourself, yeah, the thoughts that you have, forget even about the content, but the energy behind the thoughts that you have, yeah? There's a guy called Ralph Waldo Emerson. He described it very well. Who you are, those are just whispers of 1,000 generations. Yeah, if you look back at your life, there are people who had similar energy as yours. And these people are probably in your bloodline. No wonder you're like that. And so I'm thinking about our forefathers, Sisi kama wa Kenya, yeah? I'm like, no wonder you guys, we don't take bull BS. No wonder we don't take no for an answer. No wonder we will get out there. A good number of us will get out there and fight for what's right. Even if we have to put our lives on the line. That sense of awareness, you know, you can't find it easily out there. Some people just go through serious Stockholm syndrome. As we don't care about the titles, who are you, Bana? Yeah? We will deal with you. Thoroughly. You know what I mean? Anyway, but you know where I'm going with this thing. Well, Kenya, manze, I don't know. Kenya's just different. And I figured out why. It's because of that rada. Very, very alert. Very politically aware. Very socially aware. Of course, our economy has also led us to get into these levels. All the things that we go through. You know it. Fuel prices, taxes. You get pay crazy amounts of taxes. And guys still get out there and make it happen for their families, for themselves, you know, for community, manzi. Yeah? The conversations also, you get in Kenya are they're woke. Yeah? Even before social media, even before the internet. Kulipwanga na this thing called Baraza la Wazee. Yeah? You just find guys in vikundis, in the city, in the villages, just discussing issues and going down, you know, deep into issues, societal matters, right? And then now, social media culture, you guys taking it through the roof, man. Yeah? Our social media landscape in terms of conversations, you guys thriving. People have a thing to say about everything that's going on, everything that's affecting us, right? Talk radio is booming these days. Kwanza hapa hivi SpiceFM, we're the pioneers, right? Debates on TV, newspaper. Don't even get me started saying at sijui. Media is not dying, bro. Media is not dying. You best believe these conversations are everywhere, every facet of media, heightened. Right? Regardless of the platform, conversations in Kenya are through the roof nowadays, man. And guys are saying smart things, man, from their own experiences. Yeah? Online activism is also a thing. I don't know. Me, I just feel like, and let me tell you another thing that is so big, anyway, when it comes to this thing for guys being rada. You know how being a skeptic, sometimes people say it's a bad thing, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think in Kenya, yeah, the way there's a sense of skepticism amongst a lot of people out there, I think that's another reason as to why us guys are so aware. We're in alert mode 90% of the time. You know, there's been so much insecurity in the country. You're talking terrorist attacks, yeah, and just every day, man, the crime going down. So you have to be, you have to be rada, man. You have to be aware for the sake of your life. If you're not, listen, if you're not rada, somebody can take your life out here. Yeah? And, regardless of all these things that I'm telling you, people still afford a smile. Yeah? We like to have fun. We like to smile. We're happy people. It's just that we're forced to be rada these days. You know what I mean? Yeah? Yeah, so for me, it's interesting because this conversation has had to morph into, the political aspect to our society. However, yeah, on Saturday is when I really knew. I saw how the Kenyan man's face and the Ugandan man's face at RFU. Nikasema yenyewe, you get shida tumepitia sisi wa Kenya. Hizo mashida zote. Trust me, bana. That's why it's very hard to beat us in sports. Because guys are gonna be like, what? Yo. Yo kombe lazima tuibebe. Yeah, because every individual on that field knows where they're from. They know where they're going. Yeah, they know where they're going. So let me tell you, even if the country has all these mashidas, guys are just saying, me, I live an intense life. How do you live an intense life? By being socially aware. Yeah, by being highly alert, politically aware. If your moves are going to make sense as a Kenyan right now, lazima ukue rada. If you're not going to be rada, yeah, you'll be a victim. And don't blame society when you're victimized. I'm sorry. Especially, well, guys, this one, I'm not going to put kids in this conversation. Obviously, they're still learning. Yeah, and it's very sad because we victimize our kids. It's horrible. Like, and not just even our kids, even our women. Yeah, femicide is through the roof. But generally, once you're an adult in this country, yeah, you've got energy, you're out there, you're engaging, you're shaking hands. Because there's bad people also around you, and not just in Kenya, most places around the world. Just because there's bad people around you, it means you have to do everything that you can. You have to use everything at your disposal to make sure that you stay alive. Yeah? Stay alive. My mom used to tell me way back, I repeat, she used to tell me, Kevin, rule number 1, stay alive. Rule number 1, do not die. You're getting out there to make moves. You're getting out there to thrive as a Kenyan. Try as much as possible that you don't be, you're not going to get victimized. Someone's not going to take your life out. Yeah, use everything that you have to use, whether you have to go learn martial arts. I don't know what you're going to do, bro. But our experience is very peculiar. It's so crazy. Yeah, it has its highs and its lows, you know. I get a lot of hope when I see, some folks coming to Kenya, especially foreigners. They're like, oh my God, this place is so amazing. You know, yesterday I was checking some babes saying, I have such a massive crush on Kenya. I love it. I love it. I feel like I can finally call this place home. Okay, sour. Yeah, obviously you guys are playing, you guys are coming from a different narrative. That's fine. Different experiences. But for us guys, the only way we're going to make sense of our experience, yeah, as much as we love our experience also, yeah, lazima tukue rada, man. We have to stay alert, socially, politically, yeah, because everything these days literally is at stake. Your relationship, your job, your security, your health, yeah, everything is at stake. So you got to be aware. If you're not aware, I'm sorry. Bad things could happen to you. Yeah. All right. So I saw 2 minutes after 9, Drew Hill. We're not making love no more. And a lot more good music coming through. This hour, stick around for the Grey Zone, the Big Y, and good music. Twende kazi. Good evening.
Spice